Nothing beats a good ghost story, and our planet is chock full of them: UFO sightings in Transylvania, murders on luxury cruise ships, and spirits wandering the halls of British castles. No matter where you're traveling, you're sure to find some sort of haunted landmark, as well as a ghost tour to go along with it. Hoia-Baciu Forest, Romania. From the moment a military technician captured a photograph of a UFO hovering over the forest in 1968, Hoia-Baciu has gained paranormal notoriety around the world, with some believing it to be a portal that causes visitors to disappear. Those who have passed through the forest without being zapped into another realm have reported rashes, nausea, and feelings of anxiety. Known as the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania, the spooky curved trees that populate the forest just add to the eerie atmosphere. The Stanley Hotel, Estes Park, Colorado. The Stanley Hotel's stately Georgian architecture and world-renowned whiskey bar have lured travelers to Estes Park since opening in 1909. But the hotel reached new levels of fame after inspiring Stephen King to create The Shining's fictional Overlook Hotel. That eerie association aside, many other ghost sightings and some mysterious piano music have been connected to the hotel. And the Stanley Hotel leans into its reputation with nightly ghost tours and psychic consultations from the in-house Madame Vera. Chuuk Lagoon, Micronesia. What's even scarier than a haunted graveyard? Probably a haunted graveyard that sits 50 feet underwater. Micronesia's Chuuk Lagoon, formerly Truk Lagoon, served as a fortified base for the Japanese Navy during World War II. And it was attacked by American forces during a 3-day airstrike in 1944. Dozens of warships, planes, tanks, and railroad cars sank to the bottom of the lagoon, where they remain today in what is known as the Ghost Fleet of Truk Lagoon. The ship graveyard is immensely popular with scuba divers, with POTI dubbing it one of the best wreck diving destinations on the planet. Underwater explorers can swim up close to the wartime vessels, which are littered with weapons, gas masks, and, according to some superstitious divers, a few waterlogged ghosts. St. George's Church, Czech Republic. Originally built in 1352, St. George's Church, about 125 miles east of Prague, boasts quite a history. The building was nearly destroyed by fires many times over the centuries, and its roof partially collapsed during a funeral service in 1968. After that event, the congregation became convinced the church was haunted and refused to enter. As a result, the building was stripped by robbers and fell prey to vandalism. That all changed in 2012, when an art student at the University of West Bohemia had an idea to lure visitors back to the church. A collection of 30 ghost sculptures sitting in the pews with their heads bowed. Today, tourists have flocked to the ghost church, which opens to the public every Saturday afternoon, to snap photos and even sit among the unmoving specters while praying. Edinburgh Castle, Scotland. One of the biggest attractions in Scotland's capital city is also considered to be one of its most haunted. With sections dating back more than 900 years, the historic fortress's ancient dungeons have led visitors to report sightings of colonial prisoners from the American Revolutionary War and French prisoners from the 7 Years' War, and even the ghost of a dog wandering the castle's dog cemetery. Eastern State Penitentiary, Philadelphia. The castle-like Eastern State Penitentiary took solitary confinement to new levels when it was built in 1829. Prisoners lived alone, exercised alone, and ate alone. When an inmate left his cell, a guard would cover his head with a hood so he couldn't see or be seen. The prison had to abandon its solitary system due to overcrowding in 1913. Although the forms of punishment did not get any less severe, chaining an inmate's tongue to his wrists is one example, before it closed for good in 1970. The site now welcomes thousands of visitors every year, both for its museum and Halloween celebrations. Reported paranormal happenings have included disembodied laughter, shadowy figures, and pacing footsteps. Isla de las Munecas, Mexico. Despite its status as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its well-preserved examples of Aztec life, the neighborhood of Xochimilco has reached a certain amount of internet fame for its Island of the Dolls. Hidden among the region's many canals, the site is famous for the hundreds of dolls and doll parts hanging from trees and scattered among the grass. While it might look more like a horror movie set, the Chinampa, akin to an artificial island, used to be the residence of a now deceased man named Julian Santa Barrera. After finding a dead girl's body in a nearby canal, Barrera collected and displayed the toys in the hopes of warding off evil spirits, reports National Geographic. Daring souls can hire their own boat and view the islands safely from the water. Al Madam, United Arab Emirates. There is something eerily beautiful about ghost towns, and Al Madam is no exception. Located in about 40 miles southeast of Dubai, the village was most likely built in the 1970s and deserted shortly after. A fact that local legend attributes to jinn, shape-shifting spirits, staring people straight out of town. No one knows whether or not the spirits have lingered, but Al Madam still has a sort of haunted quality to it. Dunes encroaching on the 2 rows of houses and a mosque, sand falling through broken windows like waves, and a seemingly endless sea of ochre desert stretching out in every direction. St. Augustine Lighthouse, Florida. The St. Augustine Lighthouse is visited by more than 216,000 people annually, but it's just as well known for its otherworldly guests. Several tragic events that occurred at the now historic site have contributed to the alleged paranormal activity. The ghost of a lighthouse keeper who fell to his death while painting the tower has been spotted watching over the grounds. And ever since the horrific death of 3 young girls, who drowned when the cart they were playing in broke and fell into the ocean, visitors have claimed to hear the sounds of children playing in and around the lighthouse. Gunnuhver, Iceland. If you already thought Iceland had an otherworldly quality to it, just wait until you hear the story behind Gunnuhver, the country's largest geothermal mud pool. The area is named after Gunna, a woman who lived on this slice of the Reykjanes Peninsula some 400 years ago. After dying of starvation, her spirit came back home to violently murder her former landlord and his wife. The local townspeople called upon a priest to take care of their little ghost problem, which he solved by casting Gunna into a boiling hot mud pool. While no other supernatural murders have occurred since then, some visitors claim to catch glimpses of Gunna's ghostly figure through the billowing mist of the pools from time to time. The Forbidden City, Beijing, China. No trip to Beijing is complete without a visit to the Forbidden City, China's former imperial palace that now serves as a museum. But you might not know that the popular tourist destination has quite the reputation among supernatural enthusiasts. During its 600-year tenure as a palace, the complex had its fair share of murders, whether from jealous concubines poisoning one another or executions performed at the emperor's behest. Needless to say, there have been many reports of strange phenomena since the palace opened to the public in the 1940s. The most common story involves a woman dressed in white, as most good ghost stories do, strolling around the grounds and sobbing. Alright, that's it for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos.